talk to so many healers and alternative workers, and I have many doctors for clients who are switching over because they're tired of the medical profession. They're wanting to go into the natural medicine field. So I see it happening, I think, more than most people. But I told the college, I said, I think as soon as the other colleges get wind of this, they're going to want to do the same thing. But this is the Department of Integrative Medicine at the Northern University, Northern New Mexico College. And so I'm going to be teaching there now every year, and they're giving 1.5 college credits for my class. So this is coming up. And I'm going back to Moscow this summer, and be speaking at an international conference there on natural medicine. Because those of you who have taken my class and know about it is that I found a way to do instantaneous healing with my work. And in Moscow, they were talking the other night on the phone. They're thinking of asking me if they can have a school in Moscow that will teach my method. And that means I'll have to go back there every year to make sure they're doing it correctly. And this is a group of doctors who are trying to unite all of the natural healers in the world. So it's like, the average person has no idea how big this is becoming. We're like the underground. People don't know what's really going on, but I think it's getting ready to explode to where it's really going to be mainstream, going away from the drugs and the surgery to where we can heal ourselves with our mind, and we can use herbs and the natural forms of healing. That's the way it's supposed to be, the way it used to be, and we're going back to that. So I feel really honored to be in the middle of all of this, in addition to everything else I got to do. Not like I don't have anything to do. Okay, but I'm going to talk about my book about life after death. That's what I meant. We're going a little serious here for a little bit. Because I talk at this also at ashrams all over the world. And they said it goes along perfectly with their teachings, with the Hindu religion. So I'm involved with a lot of different religions too, because it makes so much sense. But in my work, when you do the past life regressions, in order to do it correctly, you must take the person through the death experience. And a lot of hypnosis classes say, no, don't touch that, it's dangerous. It is not, because I've done thousands and thousands of people, and I've had them die in every way imaginable you could think of. And nobody's been harmed if you know what you're doing. That's why I know it can't hurt. But during all that time, the 30 years I've been doing the past life regressions steadily, I took so many people through the death experience, because in the death experience, sometimes is the answer for the problems in this lifetime. Phobias, allergies, you can see where that would come from, the way they died in the other life. But also medical things that are wrong with the body go back to the way they died in the other lifetime. So all of this is very important. So I found by taking hundreds of people back to the past lives and bringing them back through the death experience, they all described it the same way. They all said the same thing. So this is not near death. This is what I'm going to tell you about is what they described as real death, what really happens when you die and when you cross over. Because near death, you go so far. You have to come back. But this is what happens whenever you go all the way. And I usually give a longer lecture, so I'm going to try to stick to the main points, and then we'll see if you have any questions. Because I encompass just about everything you could possibly want to know in this subject. Okay, what I found out, well, people say this makes them to where they're not afraid anymore when they find these things out. And also they like to know if somebody has died, they want to know where they went. So these are important things to find out about. Okay, when the person goes through the death experience and they're dying, they said the first thing, they feel very cold. Then the next instant, they're standing by the bed looking down at the body. It's that quick. They say it's just like getting up from one chair and sitting down in another chair. You just slide right out of the body. So they're standing next to the bed looking down at the body, and they'll say, Gee, I didn't know I looked that bad. And believe me, the last thing they'd want to do is go back into that body. Usually it's sick or it's diseased and there's no hope of it ever getting well. They don't want to go back to it because the next thing that comes into their mind is, hey, I'm out of there. I'm free. I can go anywhere I want. I can do anything I want. So that's what they want to do. They want to go on. They want to go home, really. It's the people who are left behind are the ones who grieve about it. They want them to stay with them. But do you really want them to be back in a body like that most of the time there's no hope for them? It's better to realize to let them go, because when you hold on to it, you're being selfish. It's just for yourself. I'm going to miss them. I want them to be with me. I'll do without you, that kind of thing. It's a selfish thing, because really the parts I'm going to go through is you make a contract when you come in. And in this contract, you also make an exit plan. So all of this is planned before you ever come into the life. So the person is ready to go on. They have completed their mission. They have completed everything they were supposed to do. They don't know this consciously, but it is part of a plan. So the person who is grieving doesn't understand that. It's time for them to go. They are going back home. And you have to continue with your life as part of your plan and your contract. Anyway, the first thing they say is, oh boy, I'm out of here. I'm going to get to leave. I can go home. And I've found you are never alone. This is one of the greatest fears people have. They think when they die they're going to be alone, going into the great unknown. That's not what happens. You are never alone. You're never alone when you're alive either, but you don't realize that. Because when you come into a lifetime, you have a guardian angel, if you want to call it that, a guardian angel or a guide that is assigned to you specifically. They have to be with you your entire lifetime. They have to take care of you. They have to be there for you. And they love to help you, but they can't interfere. They can only help if you ask for help. And if you do, boy, do they take over. But sometimes it can be a deceased relative that is assigned to you to be your guardian angel. But you do have one. And if your life gets a little complicated, you may have more than one. You can have as many as 4, all taking care of different things. And if your life takes a sudden turn in a different direction, sometimes these guides will change places. Another one will come in that has more expertise in your field that you're going into. So you always have somebody there. So whenever you actually die and leave the body, you always have someone, I call them the greeters. Someone will come to meet you and take you where you're supposed to go. Now, all of you have probably been with somebody dying in a hospital, and they see unseen people around the bed. Have you ever had that happen? Usually it's deceased relatives. They see them standing around the bed. This is very real. The doctors and the nurses try to say, well, it's just the drugs or the oxygen deprivation because they're dying. No, it's very real. And I've had other nurses say it happens a lot, that they will see people there, and you notice they're always very happy. So-and-so is here, and they know they're going to go with them. Husband, relative, or whatever it is. So if they aren't